The world's next superpower won't be the one with the most soldiers, but the one with the smartest machines. Forget everything you thought you knew about global power struggles. The new Cold War isn't being fought with tanks or missiles. It's a silent, invisible conflict fought with algorithms, data, and raw computing power. This is the story of the race for AI supremacy, a contest that will define the 21st century. To understand where we're going, we have to look back at where it all began. For decades, artificial intelligence was little more than a fascinating concept, a dream tucked away in university labs and science fiction novels. It was the stuff of academic papers and theoretical debates. But then, something changed. The digital revolution exploded, and with it, the quiet hum of servers in a place called Silicon Valley began to grow into a roar. This is where the American side of our story kicks off. Think of the early days of Silicon Valley, a culture of garage startups, disruptive innovation, and a relentless drive to push the boundaries of what's possible. From the first microprocessors to the birth of the internet, it was a freewheeling, bottom-up approach. Geniuses like the traitorous 8, who left Shockley Semiconductor to found Fairchild, which then spawned Intel, created an ecosystem where ideas could flourish. The US government played a role, of course, especially through agencies like DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. DARPA was the quiet engine behind breakthroughs like the internet itself and GPS. Their goal was to maintain a technological edge for national security, funding high-risk, high-reward projects. But the real magic happened in the private sector, fueled by venture capital and a thirst for the next big thing. AI was part of this, but it was just one of many exciting frontiers. Then across the Pacific, a different kind of giant began to stir. China, after its century of humiliation, was determined to reclaim its place on the world stage. For years, its strategy was to learn and replicate. They became the world's factory, mastering manufacturing and supply chains. But copying can only get you so far. The Chinese government knew that to truly lead, they had to innovate, and they saw the dawn of the AI era as a once-in-a-century opportunity to leapfrog the West. Unlike the decentralized, almost chaotic innovation of Silicon Valley, China's approach was top-down, strategic, and unified. They looked at the American tech giants, Google, Facebook, Amazon, and didn't just see successful companies. They saw models to be adapted and improved upon, all under the guidance of a powerful state. This is where the two models diverge dramatically. In the US, innovation is largely driven by market forces and individual brilliance. In China, it's a national mission, a coordinated effort between the government, academia, and a new generation of tech titans. Suddenly, AI wasn't just a tool for recommending movies or optimizing ad clicks. It became a geopolitical weapon. The moment that crystallized this for the world was in 2016, when Google's AlphaGo defeated the world champion Lee Sedol at the ancient game of Go. For many in the West, it was a cool tech demo. For China, it was their Sputnik moment. It was a shocking demonstration of how powerful AI had become, and it lit a fire under their national ambitions. They realized that the future of economic strength, military power, and global influence would be determined by who mastered this technology first. This brings us to the most critical resource in this new conflict: data. You've probably heard the phrase, "Data is the new oil." In the age of AI, that's not just a clever metaphor, it's a fundamental truth. AI, especially deep learning, is incredibly hungry. It learns by analyzing vast quantities of data. The more data you feed it, the smarter and more accurate it becomes. An AI that has seen 1,000,000 pictures of a cat can recognize a cat far better than one that has only seen 1,000. Now think about the scale of data collection. In the US and the West, data is generated by billions of users, but it's held by a handful of private corporations. Google has your search history, Amazon knows what you buy, Meta knows who your friends are. There are debates about privacy, regulations like GDPR, and a constant push and pull between users and these tech giants. China operates on a completely different scale, with a population of over 1.4 billion people and a digital ecosystem where apps like WeChat and Alipay are integrated into every facet of daily life, From paying for groceries to booking a doctor's appointment, the sheer volume of data being generated is staggering. And crucially, the line between private companies and the state is much blurrier. The government has unparalleled access to this ocean of data. This gives China a massive structural advantage in training AI models. While the West debates the ethics of data collection, China is using its vast reserves to train AI for everything from facial recognition and autonomous driving to medical diagnostics and social credit systems. The question isn't just about who has more data, but who can use it with fewer restrictions. Faced with China's Sputnik moment and its massive data advantage, both nations formalized their strategies. They laid their cards on the table. In the United States, the approach has been a continuation of the DARPA model, funding cutting-edge research and relying on the dynamism of the private sector. There isn't a single monolithic US AI plan in the same way as China. Instead, it's a collection of initiatives and massive R&D investments by companies like Microsoft, Google, and NVIDIA, loosely guided by national security priorities. China, on the other hand, was characteristically bold and direct. In 2017, the State Council released its Next Generation Artificial Intelligence Development Plan. It wasn't a suggestion, it was a roadmap. The plan laid out clear goals: catch up to the US in AI technology and applications by 2020, achieve major breakthroughs by 2025, and become the undisputed world leader in AI by 2030. It's a whole-of-nation strategy, mobilizing billions of dollars and aligning the entire country, from the smallest startup to the largest state-owned enterprise, toward this single, overarching goal. It's the US DARPA model, but supercharged with the full weight of a command economy. This race for AI dominance has created a new kind of arms race. The nuclear arsenal of the 21st century isn't a warhead, it's a semiconductor. It's the tiny, incredibly complex silicon chip that provides the processing power for AI. These chips, especially the high-end GPUs designed by companies like NVIDIA, are the engines of artificial intelligence. Without them, you can't train large-scale AI models. You can have all the data in the world, but without the horsepower to process it, it's useless. This is why semiconductors have become a major geopolitical battleground. The US and its allies, like Taiwan and the Netherlands, currently dominate the design and manufacturing of the most advanced chips. Realizing this choke point, the US has begun to use it as a strategic lever, implementing export controls to slow down China's progress. They are, in effect, trying to limit China's access to this new nuclear arsenal. In response, China is pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into developing its own domestic semiconductor industry, trying to break free from this dependency. It's a desperate, high-stakes gamble to secure the fundamental building blocks of future power. Alongside chips, cloud computing platforms like Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure have become critical infrastructure. They provide the massive, on-demand computing power needed to train and deploy AI at scale. Control the chips and the cloud, and you control the pace of AI development. So, the stage is set. On one side, you have the United States, a technological incumbent with a dynamic private sector, a lead in critical hardware but a fragmented national strategy. On the other, China, a rising challenger with a unified national vision, a massive data advantage, but a critical dependency on foreign technology. This isn't just about which country will build the next great smartphone app. It's a fundamental conflict of systems and values, a race to build the intelligence that will shape our future. And the race has only just begun. The stakes are only going to get higher from here. Now we're entering a much darker and more consequential domain: how artificial intelligence is being weaponized to reshape warfare, surveillance, and the very balance of global power. There's a chilling saying echoing through the halls of power: the first nation to control artificial intelligence may control the world. It's not just a soundbite, it's the driving force behind a new, invisible Cold War. Imagine a battlefield where decisions are made not in seconds but in microseconds. This isn't science fiction anymore. We're talking about autonomous drones, capable of identifying and engaging targets without direct human command. Robotic soldiers that can patrol hostile territory, impervious to fear or fatigue. And overarching it all, AI battle command systems that process thousands of data streams, from satellites, sensors, and troops on the ground, to predict enemy movements and orchestrate complex multi-domain attacks with terrifying efficiency. This is the new face of war, where algorithms can mean the difference between victory and defeat. The ethical questions are staggering. What happens when the decision to take a human life is delegated to a machine? Who is responsible when an AI makes a mistake? These are no longer theoretical debates. They are urgent realities military planners are grappling with right now. But the AI weaponization extends far beyond the traditional battlefield. Let's turn our attention to China, which has pioneered a model of societal control that is both breathtakingly ambitious and deeply unsettling. You've likely heard of the social credit system. It's a vast network that uses AI to monitor the behavior of its citizens. Everything from jaywalking and late bill payments to online comments and social associations is tracked, analyzed, and scored. A high score can bring rewards like easier loans and travel permits. A low score can lead to being blacklisted, being unable to buy train tickets, access good schools for your children, or even get certain jobs. This is AI as an instrument of mass surveillance and social engineering, a digital panopticon that incentivizes conformity and punishes dissent on an unprecedented scale. The system integrates facial recognition, big data analytics, and predictive policing to create what some have called a digital cage. It's a stark example of how AI can be used not just to fight external enemies, but to control a nation's own population. Meanwhile, the United States is racing to maintain its military edge, pouring billions into its own AI initiatives. Take Project Maven, for example. This controversial program used AI to analyze vast quantities of drone footage, automatically identifying potential targets and objects of interest. It aimed to free up human analysts from the tedious work of sifting through thousands of hours of video, allowing them to focus on higher-level strategy. Then there's the work being done at DARPA, the Pentagon's advanced research agency. They're developing everything from swarms of collaborating drones to advanced robotics that can navigate disaster zones and, eventually, battlefields. The goal is what military strategists call predictive warfare, using AI to anticipate an adversary's actions before they happen, allowing for preemptive strikes and giving commanders a decisive information advantage. The U.S. approach is focused on creating a network-centric force, where AI acts as the central nervous system connecting soldiers, vehicles, ships, and aircraft into a single intelligent fighting machine. The new front line, however, might be the one you're looking at right now. Cyberspace. This is where AI-powered propaganda bots and digital influence campaigns are already being deployed. These aren't the simple, clumsy bots of a few years ago. Modern AI can generate incredibly realistic fake profiles, write convincing posts, and engage in arguments to sow discord, spread misinformation, and manipulate public opinion. They can identify and target specific demographics with tailored messages, amplifying divisive content to polarize societies and destabilize elections. This is information warfare on a global scale. An AI can launch thousands of sophisticated cyber attacks simultaneously, probing for weaknesses in critical infrastructure like power grids, financial systems, and communication networks. The ability to disrupt an enemy nation without firing a single shot is a powerful and dangerous capability. So why is this race for AI supremacy becoming more critical than even the nuclear arms race of the 20th century? Because unlike nuclear weapons, which are primarily a deterrent that everyone hopes to never use, AI is a weapon that is being used every single day. It offers a continuous, evolving advantage. AI supremacy means economic dominance, as it will drive the next wave of innovation. It means informational dominance, the ability to shape narratives and control the flow of knowledge globally. And it means military dominance, the power to win future conflicts quickly and decisively. Nations fear being left behind, becoming technologically dependent on a rival power that could, at any moment, shut them off or use that AI leverage against them. The fear isn't just about losing a war. It's about losing sovereignty, autonomy, and the ability to determine one's own future. This is the ultimate prize in the 21st century power struggle. We've covered some heavy ground today, from robotic soldiers to digital surveillance states. We've seen how AI is no longer a tool. but a strategic asset that is fundamentally changing the nature of power. The implications are profound, and the race is only accelerating. We'll explore the catastrophic risks of uncontrolled superintelligence, the global efforts to create AI ethics and regulations, and what the future might hold for humanity in the age of intelligent machines. The Cold War never ended. It just upgraded. Instead of nuclear warheads, the weapons are now silicon chips. Instead of an iron curtain, we have digital firewalls. A new global struggle that's reshaping our world right before our eyes. What we're witnessing is a fundamental split in the global order. It all starts with the humble microchip, the brain cell of every AI system. The United States has enacted strict chip sanctions, aiming to cut off China's access to the most advanced semiconductors. This isn't just a trade dispute, it's a technological embargo, a strategic move to lock down the global supply chain and slow down a rival's progress. Think of it like this. If AI is the new electricity, one side is trying to control all the power plants. This forces every nation into a difficult position. Do you align with the US and its AI ecosystem, built on platforms like Google, Microsoft, and NVIDIA? Or do you join China's rapidly expanding digital empire, powered by companies like Huawei, Tencent, and Alibaba? It's not just about choosing a smartphone or a social media app anymore. This decision will determine a country's economic future, its military capabilities, and even its social structure. We're seeing new alliances form not based on old political ideologies, but on technological compatibility. It's a digital divide on a planetary scale. For developing nations, the stakes are even higher. They risk becoming digital colonies dependent on either the US or China for the AI infrastructure that will run their banks, hospitals, and governments. The data from their citizens could become the raw material feeding foreign AI models, creating a new form of resource extraction. Who will own the data? Who will set the rules? These are the questions leaders from Africa to Southeast Asia are grappling with right now. And then there's the ultimate prize, artificial general intelligence, or AGI. This is the holy grail of AI research, a machine that can think, reason, and create just like a human, or even better. The race to be the first to develop AGI is the 21st century space race, but with far greater consequences. Companies like OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and Anthropic are pouring billions into this pursuit in the West. In the East, Chinese labs backed by the state are working relentlessly toward the same goal. Who's closer? It's hard to say. The West currently leads in foundational model innovation, but China excels at implementation and scaling technology for massive populations. But the real question isn't who gets there first, but what happens when they do. An AGI could solve humanity's biggest problems, from climate change to disease, or it could give one nation an unimaginable advantage, creating an imbalance of power unlike anything the world has ever seen. The first to AGI could potentially build the next empire, an empire of intelligence. This brings us to one of the most immediate concerns for people everywhere: jobs. Will AI destroy our livelihoods or create new, unimaginable opportunities? The truth is, it will do both. We're already seeing AI take over routine tasks in fields like customer service, data analysis, and even creative work like graphic design. This is causing real anxiety. But history shows that technological revolutions also create new jobs. The Industrial Revolution replaced weavers with factory workers. The internet created entire industries that didn't exist 30 years ago, like social media managers and app developers. The AI revolution will be no different, but it will happen much, much faster. The challenge isn't just about job loss, it's about the speed of transition. Can we retrain and reskill millions of people fast enough to keep up? If we fail, we could see massive social disruption and a widening gap between those who can work with AI and those who are left behind. The future could hold new empires of wealth, but for whom? Will this wealth be concentrated in the hands of a few tech giants and their engineers? Or can we find ways to distribute the incredible productivity gains that AI will unlock? This is one of the defining economic and ethical questions of our time. Governments are scrambling to respond. We're seeing calls for universal basic income, new educational models focused on creativity and critical thinking, and regulations to ensure that AI is deployed responsibly. But can policy keep pace with the exponential growth of technology? It's like trying to build a dam while the floodwaters are already rising. And this leads us to the final, ultimate question, the one that keeps scientists and philosophers up at night. Can humanity control what it creates? We are building systems that can learn and evolve on their own. We're getting closer to creating an intelligence that could surpass our own. What happens then? The optimist's view is that we will create a benevolent superintelligence that acts as a wise guardian for humanity. The pessimist's view, well, it's the plot of countless science fiction movies. The challenge is called the alignment problem. How do we ensure that an AGI's goals are aligned with human values? It's incredibly difficult. What are human values anyway? We can't even agree on them ourselves. How do we code things like compassion, fairness, and wisdom into a machine? A simple instruction like "what make humans happy" could lead an AI to trap us in virtual reality bliss pods. An instruction to protect the environment could lead it to conclude that humanity is the biggest threat. We are standing at a precipice. The decisions we make in the next few years, the regulations we pass, the alliances we form, the ethical guidelines we establish, will echo for centuries. This is not a problem for future generations. It is our problem right here, right now. The AI Cold War is not just a battle between nations. It's a struggle for the very future of human civilization. We have built a tool of unimaginable power. Now we must find the wisdom to wield it. The world is splitting, the race is on, and the clock is ticking.